Last day, we have discussed about arrays in Pascal. Now, actually, we have come to the end of the lesson. So today we will discuss Pascal, and will be the last day that we are going to discuss this Pascal language, right? So after that, after today, we will not be discussing the same topic. We will move into the next topic because the Pascal language lessons are over from today. So already we have discussed 10 days, and this is the 11th day. By 11th day, so this Pascal language lesson will be over. But we have some theoretical lessons, and also we need to prepare for the next practical lesson, which is HTML. So let's discuss about that next day. For today, we will be discussing the last topic of your programming language, Pascal. So if you are new to the class, or if you have not done Pascal before, so don't worry, we will be discussing the same with the revision class as well as the paper class. Just focus for today and try to understand the today's lesson, because today's lesson is not much difficult. You only need to remember the concept, right? You only need to remember the concept. No coding, I'll teach you coding, but in the examination, this coding knowledge will not be tested that much. හරි කෝඩින් knowledge එක එහෙම ලොකුවට check කරන්නේ නැහැ exam එකේ. ඒ හින්දා ඔයාලට මේකේ concept එක ඔළුවට දාගත්තොත් ඇති. Right? So therefore, even for a newcomer or even for a new student, this lesson won't be a big problem. But if you're thinking about coding, yes, so you need some amount of coding. But if you're thinking about the concept, this is not a big lesson, right? Okay, let's move to the concept today. The concept here is about functions and procedures. The concept here is discussing about functions and procedures. So the difference between function and procedure is that function can return a value, whereas procedure is doing something but it's not returning value. Both have similarity. The similarity is both function and procedure are subprograms. It is part of a single program. If you want to divide into a manageable and callable, or you can call this again and again. So if you want to divide that to a manageable and callable section, then you need to introduce these functions and procedures. Okay, here you can see this is a single program. The single program can have multiple procedures, multiple functions. In the main program, you can call them. Here, so you can see this is a procedure and this is a function. So both you can call inside the main program. You're calling function and procedure. So it's very simple. Okay, let's see that. Let's see the concept before we begin, and then after discussing, we can move to the implementation part of this. But remember that you only need to understand this as a concept. Don't think much about the codings, because when you think more about the coding, you will feel bored. You will feel upset sometimes if you cannot understand the coding. But don't think that much about it. Just think about what is happening here. Okay, I'm going to move to your coding platform. That is our online Pascal GDB compiler. And let me erase everything. So I don't need this part, I need everything. And I'm just keeping small part there. This part and this part only. This is our basic program, right? Then let me introduce, okay, let's say program circle, and I just need small thing. I need a variable that is R, variable R, and also I need area, and I need circumference. These are the variables that I'm going to use here, and those are real in the real data type. First of all, I have to declare R is the radius, let's say radius, and area is the area of the circle, and circumference is the circumference, you know, there. And I need a constant too, so that is const. So what is the constant that you need to find the area and the circumference? Can you tell me? Yes. What is the constant you need to calculate this?
2πr.
Yeah, you need 5 basically, right? You need 5 const, and that is 5. And you can just mention const is 5. And you can give a value pi equal 22 divided by 7. Pi equal 22 divided by 7. That is the variable. The program circle and const. So there is a constant that is pi, and it is 22 divided by 7. And you need variables. These are the things. And simple thing, without any functions, without any procedures, you can just write ln. So let's say let's give a value to r equal 7. You can say area of the circle is you can say area, and that is equal to 5 radius of 5r square. Here the radius, right? So radius equals 7 and area is, and finally you can just print the area here. That is the simplest way of printing the area. Let's run this. Oh. Please. Okay. You can see the area of the circle is this, and I would like to remove this scientific notation and round this to 2 decimal points. So I'm mentioning 0 to round it to 2 decimal points. Now you can see the area of the circle is 154.00. Otherwise, it will be displayed in the scientific notation. This is without any function or procedure, right? The next one, you can write where the circumference of the circle is the circumference, where the circumference is equal to 2 into pi into radius. Let's run down, and you can see area is 154 and circumference is 44. So am I correct? 2 phi r and 5r, 2 phi r, then 5r square. Yeah. Okay, area is bigger than the circumference. It's just okay. This is without any functions and procedures. Right? Why do we need functions and procedures then? So functions and procedures will make this complex. It's simple to write this circumference and area, but the functions and procedures, if you add, it will make this a complex program. But still you need that, because you can modularize and you can group the related codes together. Also, you can call the same thing again and again when you require. You can recall the function. Okay, please write down under your note. You can write down this point. That is the final part. Here you can see functions, procedures, advantages. It will allow coders or programmers to recall those functions and procedures again and again. It stops code repetition, or it stops, it avoids, or it minimizes. It minimizes minimizes duplicate codes. It will modularize the program based on the code relatedness. Based on the code relatedness. Those are the advantages of writing. Okay, without, the first one is without any functions and procedures. You can write this. Oh, sorry. Without any functions and procedures, you can write this code, and this is how we are going to find. So this is, you find this easy, right? You find this easy because then after introducing this functions and procedures, this will become complex. That's why you will find this easy without this functions and procedures. Just write down that. So let's introduce functions and procedures to this. So this is the normal code. Let's introduce the procedures. Okay, procedure wise, you can clearly identify there are 3 procedures. So if you modularize this, finding or getting the radius, getting radius, finding area, finding circumference are 3 specific areas. So I know those are very small, but still you can modularize based on the code relatedness. The first one is getting, let's say first one is getting procedure, get area. Get area is a procedure. Okay, let's declare the procedure. You have begin and end to set the region. So you can write a message saying enter the radius. You can read it to radius variable. Simple. Now here in the main program, instead of giving radius as 7, you can say get area. Oh, sorry, get radius. It's not get radius. You can say get radius. So that is how, okay, now it's meaningful code segment. If you want to get the radius 2-3 times, you can call it 2-3 times even. Right? Even you can get that few times, 2-3 times also. Here get radius, get radius, get radius. You can call it multiple times. Okay, let's run this and see. When I run this, it's giving an error. Identify read. Yeah. Okay, let's 5 is the radius. Again, asking 7 is the radius. Again, ask, let's say 14 is the radius. Likewise, I can give the radius, right? But it will ultimately work with the 14. No point calling this 2-3 times, but if that is the advantage. You can call radius again and again. That is the advantage. Once you declare this as a procedure, you can call it multiple times. But calling 1 time is enough. Therefore, I'll stop with 1 time. But similar to that, let's say you can declare a procedure to find the area. Get area. We can say find area. So no spaces. Begin. Now you know the radius. Therefore, you can say area is equal to 5. So similar to that, area is equal to this. Okay. Now replace the code with find area. See how simple these are? But the thing is that you can call this multiple times. If you want to find area 2 times, you can, okay, let's say you want to find another one, then you can call this again, get radius. Now 2 times. When you run, it will first ask, here it should not read radius, right? This should be like printed radius, right? Area of the circle is, comma, area. Okay, that's it. And now you are calling get radius and find area, get radius, find area again and again. So let's run it. First get radius will get the radius 7 and the area is this. Again, the second radius is, let's say 14 and the area is this. It's giving. I think we should have some right line, right? Right line. So let's do it. Get radius. Okay, area of the circle is, get radius again, and area of the circle is this. I think we can just display rounded figure, and yeah, that's it. 7 and 14 is 8. You can just find it 2 times. So why area is a circle is this one? Again, area is a circle. Ah, yes, because of this. So let's erase these things. Now, crystal clear. First 7, second 14. Okay, 2 times. Very simple. It is 5r square. So it's find the total and display. Right? Okay, now 2 procedures. Okay, let's add the third procedure also. That is find circumference. Circumference. And you know the circumference is 2 pi r. 2 into 5 into r. 2 pi r. And this here you have to replace the variable circumference is equal to 2 pi r and print in the circumference. And okay, let's print the circumference. Let's do it last time. Only for the second circle, I'm going to print the circumference, right? So that will happen only 1 time. So let's run it. Let's stop it. Run it. Is it running? Yeah, sorry. So let's say 7 is the radius and you're getting the answer 140. Then 14 is the radius. You're getting both circumference and area. Oh, no. The second one should be circumference. My mistake. Circumference of the circle is. Okay. Now let's run it. Okay, the first attempt asking the radius, giving me the area. Second attempt asking the radius, giving me the area and circumference both. 2 pi r, 14 into 5. So 22 divided by 7 and r you can cut down 2 pi r. This is 2, altogether 88. Yes, correct. Okay, so shall we write down this and show how procedures are working? Let's move to the function after that. You have to practice this today. No, not just writing down. I prefer if you can do this in your computer too, or your mobile phone. That will give you practice. So that is essential when learning this. But don't worry, this will not be there in the examination. Right? In the examination, this will not be there. So no need to worry about that. But the thing is, the concept will be asked. Not the code, but the concept will be. What is procedure? That will be asked. Okay, please write down this quickly. Write down and please do this also. Let's move to the functions part now. The procedure, as you said, the procedure can be recalled, called again and again. That is true. So similar to that, the function can also be called. But the advantages of function is where you can just keep the returning value and you can assign that to a variable. And another thing that I would like to highlight here, So this section, so please write down within curly braces as a comment. So these variables are called global variables. So I'll write as a comment, variables declared in this section, variables declared in this section are called global variables. Section are called global variables. Write this within curly braces because curly braces, you know, it's a comment, right? It's a comment. Variables declared in this section are called global variables. So please write down subheading global variables. Under that, please write these variables are common to all the procedures and functions within the program declared in the earlier stage of coding and can be used inside and outside of any function or procedure. So there is another one, that's why I mentioned about global variables. The other category is called local variables. These variables are declared inside a function or procedure. It can only be used inside the function or procedure, inside the function or procedure where those are declared, These variables are declared inside the functions or procedure. It has no validity outside the function or procedure. It's like this, Pute. In your home, you have nicknames. Sudu Puta, Chude Puta, Loku Puta, Loku Duva. So likewise, you have nicknames. Those nicknames are not valid in a public area or maybe school or maybe university. It's not valid. But it is valid only inside your home. It is local to you. So anyone can be called Chuti Puta. So, but the thing is, it's valid inside your home only. Right? It's valid inside your home. It's not valid outside. It's like a local variable, which is valid only inside the particular procedure or function. Then another important thing, parameters. Parameters are also acting as local variables to the function, local variables to functions and procedures. These parameters these parameters can be used as inputs to a method. When you call a function or procedure, it is possible to change the parameter value, which will result different output. Okay, let's see how these are used, but before that, so we need to write down this, and after that, let's see. So global variables you have already seen. What are these local variables, and also what are the parameters? Let's see them now. Right, let's see how these are working, local variables and global variables. Global variables you have already seen. So let's see what these local variables are. So let's see what these local variables are. So this part can be asked in the examination. So therefore, please remember the concept, local variables. Okay, let's say the radius, area, radius. These things you can declare as local variables, circumference, everything, right? So let's make area. I'm going to remove area from here, and I'm going to declare area here as a variable. So now it's a local. Area is, let's say, real. So now this area variable is local to this. It cannot be used outside. Example, so if you ask to print, right, okay, write ln, let's say, let's write ln the radius, it will be printed. So if you write ln the area, it will not be printed. If you write ln the circumference, if you write ln the circumference, and if you write ln the circumference, so you can see here, find circumference. If you write ln the circumference, it will not be printed. Sorry, it will be printed because circumference and radius is here. Those are local, those are global. Global will be printed, but local will not be printed. That's from this. And you can see, oh, yes, it's generating error. What is this area here? Identify not found. It cannot find the area because area is local. So you can't use local outside this scope. So area will not be printed. Let's comment it. Let's comment this. This is the problem. And I'm running it. Now no errors. You can see it's running. And if I give the radius, it's calculating. And give another radius, calculating. You can see it's printing the circumference area both 1.4 into 10 to the power 1, which is 14, 8.8 into 10 to the power 1, which is 88. It's printing the circumference and printing the radius, but not printing the area. If I try to print area, it will give an error saying it's not identified. It's identify error because area is not there here. Now it's there as a local variable. So let's comment that for the moment because this line won't work. Next, I'm going to move the circumference also to the local scope. So let's move the circumference here, and I'm keeping it inside this. Circumference is equal to real type variable. Now, if I try to run, it will give an error because the circumference is not there in the global scope. It's not there here. So it will give an error. So this code you can't run. But still, you can see when I execute this, still you can see this can be calculated. Right? This can be calculated. Why? It's calculated in the area circumference. The reason is inside this, it's a local variable, but it's still, you can calculate and print. Now both are local variables, not in the global scope, both are in the local scope. And similar to that, the radius can also be moved into this one. But there is a problem, because when you move the radius inside this get radius method, what will happen? Here also you are calling radius. This will be affected. And here also you are calling radius. This also will be affected. That's why we can't move this inside, but still possible to move this variable also. And you might think when I move this, it will affect this one only, not this, not just this one today. It will affect other codes also. The reason is, yeah, when you execute, yeah, sorry, the var is need to be removed. When you execute, you can see it's giving errors. The radius not found, radius not found, because radius is called here also, here also, here also. But the thing is, radius is not there, nowhere. It's inside this get radius method only. So if you don't have these other methods, so let's say you don't have these methods, you have only this method, then it won't give the error. So let's comment this one also. Let's comment this method and this method. Now those methods are not there. What is the method? Get radius. Except get radius, I'm going to comment this one and this one also. Now those are also not there. Now it will not give an error. Then errors may, because it can only calculate it can only see this scope. Without errors anyway. But if I introduce this area, and then again it will give an error, because the reason is, identify not found. The reason, that it is local. If it is local, what will happen? It will not be, right? It will not be here and here, because it is local too. Therefore, what I have to do, I cannot declare this as a local for the moment. So let's see how to do this with the function next. I have to make it a global variable. Otherwise, other methods will be affected. Now let's try 7.14, and you can see it's pretty much okay. So not giving any errors, printing everything perfectly. Now you have the local variable thing, and let's write down these codes with the local variables, and you can put some arrows to show these local variables in your code, right? Just use some arrows and point it as a local variable. I've removed it from the global scope and added to the local scope. Only two variables. I have not done that for the area, but done other things only. You can write down this. So I have removed from the global scope and added to the local scope. Please write down this. Let's move to the functions one, the last one. Now parameters I couldn't tell, right? Sorry, parameters I have to tell that also. So what is parameter? Parameter is basically if you, so this actually, this because so let's say you are using MS Word. So let's think you are using MS Word, and the parameter in the rand equal rand is a function. You can give the parameter to get the random number of paragraphs. Let's say rand 1 will give you 1 paragraph. Rand 2 paragraphs. So if you give rand 3 paragraphs. Likewise, the parameter value you can change. Time to time you can give different. Let's say rand 30 will give you 30 paragraphs. So you can change this, right? You can change the number. You can change the parameter value and get different. So think about this Excel equal sum is a function. So equal sum is a function. It has a parameter equal sum. So you can give different parameter and get the sum for different numbers. Equal min is a function. You can give different range and get the minimum. So likewise, the parameters can be given inside the function, and these things can be, okay, let's do something. And to this find circumference. So I'm going to give radius as a function. Let's say var radius, the same name, but I'm just going to just manipulate this var radius, or you can say rad. Let's say rad var rad is a real. So then you can see the difference between this radius and rad. No, okay, this is a real number. Now when you run this, it will give an error because you don't have, so this rad. So when you run the radius function, you have to give some value. Let's give 0. Let's give 0, and you can see, so it will run now. Okay, let's here also. Well, let's see the 0 and 1, something like this. When you give the parameter, it will run. Okay, it's what is that wrong number? Sorry, it's circumference, wrong way. Should be given the circumference one here. Okay, when you run this, and you can see, so what is the identifier? Variable 34. Okay. Variable identifier expected. Rad is a real variable. Okay. So let's give some value to this as well. Already. No need to give the value. You can just assign that parameter. Okay, let's give it to a parameter, and then let's use another variable maybe. Okay, radius equal this radius equal 5, and I'm going to give that radius as the parameter to this. Okay, now it's running. So let's give 7. It's 154. Let's give 14. So you can get this, and you can see the circumference. Circumference is actually generated for the given radius, which is 5 here. If I give 7, you know the circumference is 25r. 7 means is 2 into 5, 72, 22 divided by 7 into r is 777. Then so the value will be if I give 7, it value will be 44. Okay, let's see. Let's give 7 here, 14 here, and you get 44 here. That is for this radius. This is how you run it. Your now the find circumference will run on this radius, right? So anyway, you can just call something let's say another parameter okay, description is let's say description is string, or string type of. Then I'm calling this, I'm going to give a description. Description is equal to something, maybe empty here. Description is empty, nothing is there. Okay, another variable no need to use that. Let's use only the description, and I'm going to circumference of the circle is okay. I'm going to give a message, right? ln. After that small message here, I'm going to give the message as this description. Okay. Then here I'm setting a variable, another one. Let's set a global variable d equal string. D equals string. It's a string variable. So I'm setting a value here. D is equal to Thank you. Now I can give this D as a parameter to this. That D will be captured here. That D will be displayed here. Okay, let's see. Oh, what's that? Oh. It's showing me. Now I'm giving the values again for. It will calculate and finally display thank you. How that thank you came? Because find circumference will take this D and D will be assigned to this desk. That desk will be printed here. That's why it shows thank you after that. That is the description that you have given. Okay, this is how a parameter can be used. So I hope you can quickly go through this. The last part only, no need to write down everything. This shows the usage of parameter, but only the last part, right? So kindly copy down this. This is showing how a parameter can be used. This is only one parameter. Parameter can be number of more parameters too. So let's say using a parameter. So this is how you use a parameter. Bold underline. And this is what the parameter is. I'm just highlighting this parameter because then you can remember this parameter part. And this is how you call the parameter. When you run in, you have to give a value to the parameter. This is what happening. This is what happen into the parameter when you give it here. So thank you is the value. That D will be given here, and that D will be come here. That thank you will be printed here. Okay, quickly copy down that because we have to learn functions too. Function is similar to a procedure, so it's exactly same. You can even give the parameters to these functions, but few changes. That is basically, let's say I want to make this get radius a function. I can say this a function instead of a procedure. Function. So that is what I have to tell. And okay, so let's keep other thing as it is. Function get radius, and in this get radius function, so let's say I want to return a value. That is the specialty. I can return a value. I can return, let's say I want to return a real value. I want to return a real value. That after reading this, I can tell, okay, I can tell get radius, that is the function name. I can make it equal to this radius. So what will happen? Now, actually, I don't need this radius variable anymore. I can make it a local variable. Radius is a real variable. So wow, it's a variable. It's radius. It's a real variable. It's a local variable. And that will be assigned here. And that will read the radius. That will use entered value will be read as radius, this variable. And finally, it's returning this radius. Now, instead of calling the radius, I can call the function. I can call the get radius into get radius. Here also I can say get radius. Now no radius is there. So let's run it. So it will ask me, I'll give the value 7 and again 7. Oh, it's keep asking me the radius. What's the reason? Oh, because I have given few more times. So that's the reason. Okay, so let's cancel it out. Sorry, get radius will ask the value, right? So better ask this one time, otherwise it's called a few more times. So let's use another variable. I'm using var r. R is also real variable, and the value of r I'm going to assign Yeah, the value of R is get radius, right? That is, I think, better because otherwise it will be asked several times. Value of R is get radius, so I can say pi R square R into R. And here also I can read another variable. Let's have another variable. R is a real variable, reads real variable. And then here also I can say R, right? But this R need to get the value, which is from that get radius method. Okay, done. Let's run this. Ask in the radius one time. Again, ask in the radius. What's the reason for that? Are we calling this multiple times? Now find area. Find area, get radius also we are calling. That doesn't require, right? Okay. Doesn't need it. Yeah, we can just now forget the get radius because get radius method is now providing, now getting the radius. When you call find area, it's automatically getting the radius. So I can omit or ignore this. This is not needed now. Find area 2 times. The first time is asking me enter the radius, I'm saying 7 and it's finding the area. Enter the radius, I'm saying 14, finding the area for me. And enter the radius another time because for the circumference, that is, let's say 7 again. So it's finding the circumference as well and printed, thank you. The advantage is of it's like that rand an hour. So advantage is you can give, you can change, you can return the radius basically. Yes, you can. So after running the function, you can call the function inside other one also. It will return the value. Return කියලා කියන්නේ වටිනාකමක් ලබා දෙන get radius run වුණාම මේ ටික ඔක්කොම වෙලා උත්තරේ අරගෙන ඒ උත්තරේ මේකට සමාන කරනවා. The answer will be equal to this. That answer you can use for calculations. So now you don't want to call that. ඒක වෙන වෙනම call කරන්න ඕනේ. Instead of that, we can call the master function find area or find area or find circumference. That will call get radius method and get the radius, then calculate the value. So now I don't need this as a global variable because the function will do the work. Right? Okay, that's it. But this again a lengthier code. You have to, shall I copy this and paste this? Ah, yes, it's possible. As I have sent it to the chat, but keep in mind that you have to use appropriate spaces because when you copy paste from this Zoom chat, so the spaces will be ignored. Therefore, kindly put your spaces, put the spaces in the right places. Otherwise, your code will get errors. It will introduce errors. So here's the code. If you want to take a screenshot of this and format, when you are formatting, once you're formatting, you can apply this code for that. Actually, this coding part won't be asked in the examination, so don't worry. This will not be asked in the examination. But get the idea that this has a function procedure both. Further to that, you can do the exercises in your textbook. With that, the coding section is officially finished, right? Within 11 days. So that is actually a great achievement. We took only 11 days to finish coding, the initial coding section. But the thing is, even though that is a great achievement for you, it might not be a great achievement for you. The reason because you didn't practice yet. Let's practice it and let's have the examination paper and also discuss the questions. So then it will be an advantage to you to understand this. So we came to a very good level because we discussed each and everything in your book, each and every concept. Now we know everything very well. Only thing is you have to watch the videos, do this again and again, practice and go for the examination, even after practicing the questions. Next day, I will be discussing about the theory part. So good night. See you all next week.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night, sir.
Thank you.